Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Glenn Tan speaking. This time we're going to talk about GMV6 Heat Recovery Hydro Box, which is this one. And the topic is this controller, how to use it. This presentation divided into these two parts. First, I will introduce the Y controller. After that, introduce how to check the parameter and set the parameter. And first, I will introduce how to do the wiring. And this is the Y controller special for this Hydro box. The model is XE70. We support one Y controller to control Y Hydro box. In this picture, you can find that here is the outdoor unit of the heat recovery. This is the mode exchanger. They just connected from the D1, D2. Here is D1, D2 for outdoor unit, and here is D1, D2 for indoor units. Also for the Hydro box, D1, D2 connected to the mode exchanger indoor unit, and then H1, H2 is for this Y controller. And from this picture, you can find that we also support one Y controller to control mounted. The maximum is up to 3 Hydro box. The wiring is also similar. H1, H2 of the Y controller series connected each other, and besides D1, D2 also series connected. Then to the indoor unit, which is the mode exchanger. Also on the Y controller, you need to activate the group control. We also support two Y controller to control one Hydro box. And the wiring is put this two Y controller at the same time to the H1, H2. Also select either one of it as a slave. It's okay. This is the most complicated, which is a 2Y controller to control mounted. The mounted also maximum is 3, and the wiring is H1, H2 series connected to each other. Also at the same time, the D1, D2 series connected. Then to the indoor unit mode exchanger. And from the Y controller, you need to set the group control. Besides, select either one of the Y controller to set it as a slave controller. Here is the appearance of this Y controller. This is the screen, and lower side will be the button. And this is the dimension of it. This is the screen. On here, we will display all the commands directly, so no need to memorize the codes for different functions and parameters. And at this screen, here is the mode level 1. When you turn on here, it will activate this part. And also, you can press this button to exchange between different modes. Currently, we only support the floor heating and domestic hot water. For the cold water, it is reserved, no use currently. And after that, we will go to this page. And here, this one is the mode level 2. We offer you 0 options. And here is the function. It will display all the functions directly here. And this part is the amount. Currently, as the Hydro box, there is no amount detector, which means this function is reserved. And how to switch over operating mode is just like this. First is under any state with no other operation. Press this one, and then it will just change to here. And you can find it. This one is domestic hot water, and this is the floor heating. Just press this button, very easy, right? And on the other hand, when you need to activate this button, please sure, especially for the domestic hot water, you need to set it on the dip switch S2. So first we go to the domestic hot water, which is this one, and in on status, press this mode button, which means we need to change the mode level 2. First is the standard hot water mode. This is according to your setting temperature to start or stop the domestic hot water immediately. And then the preset mode, which is set the DHW time in advance, and then according to the setting water temperature to turn on or turn off the system automatically. Basically, it will be 1 to 4 hours. This period, it can be edible. After that, and later I will introduce. And after that, the system will turn off the hydro box, which is to stop the DHW. And also this one, once activated, it will repeat every day. The last is the night hot water mode. That means with the system only heating up the DHW at this period, which is when you are going to sleeping, no need for the floor heating. Then we can use this one to heating up the DHW. And also the same according to your setting temperature to turn on or turn off the system. And once activated, it will repeat every day. And then press again, it will go back here. Next, I'm going to introduce different functions. First is the sunflower function. This function, the target is to heating up the DHW when outdoor ambient temperature is the highest. What is the benefit is that when we're doing heating the DHW, which is doing heating, and outdoor unit, it is cooling, right? At that time, if the outdoor ambient temperature it is higher, the efficiency also it can be higher. In other words, we can save more power to heating up this DHW. And here is how we find out where it is the highest, which means the system will record every half hour the outdoor ambient temperature, and then it will get this curve. Our target is just heating up the DHW at this area, which the temperature is also very high, so the efficiency also high. And here is how the detail, which is at this Y controller. When you select this domestic hot water function and press this button and go to this function, and then you can see here is the sunflower. Just like what I had introduced, we put all the functions directly on the screen. No need to memorize the codes for different functions and parameters. So just make it to be activate. It's okay. Next is high water temperature sterilization, and the purpose is just to heating up the DHW to a very high temperature to eliminate the impurities or the Legionella. And just like what I said, here is what you can set, which is how long you need to do it again, and the target of the water temperature that we offer from 65 to 70, and the preset time. And here is how to activate this function, also similar to the sunflower. Just make it to be activated. It's okay. And this is the item you can change. And by the way, the highest temperature, although it is this range, but when it is higher than the maximum of the heat pump, the others, which is from the maximum of the heat pump to the, for example, the 70, is only heating up by the water tank e-heater. Next is auto temperature setting, and the icon is this one. And the purpose of this is according to the actual outdoor ending temperature to adjust the DHW automatically. And which means on this picture you can find that you already set the lower limit and the upper limit of the outdoor ambient temperature, and also the lower limit and upper limit of the DHW. And then, for example, if today it is 20 degree, so the system can automatically calculate the target temperature will be 48 degree. And the second method is just like this. At this page, when you select the domestic hot water, just follow this one and go to this page, select the function, then also this one, make it to be anyway. This is for domestic hot water, and similar to the floor heating, which is located here. That means when you select the floor heating and go to activate this one, we offer you these three options. And for each option, which is for each level, it can be higher 3 degrees. Next function is repeat heating. The icon is this one. And for this, as the domestic water and the floor heating, the working theory is similar, so I just put them together to introduce. First is the repeat DHW. For this one is we just need to heating up the domestic hot water as soon as possible, so which is to activate the outdoor unit and the water tank heater simultaneously. And the setting is go to this page and activate this one. As for the floor heating, and this time we just need to heating up the water, which is for the floor coil. This time we just use the outdoor unit and this e-heater simultaneously. Then we can get, or we can make the floor heating up quickly. And the method is activate this one, so you can get the floor heating quickly. And this function is one-time use because we need to do the energy saving. As for the clean function, just go to this page and activate this. It's okay. The purpose of it is just to first air removal. When you're going to install the water system, there are lots of the air trapped in the water system, so we just need to turn on the water pump to circulate the water system and make the air out. And the next is just need to clean or to make the water scale disappear. For this one, also need to only circulate the water pump. Shield function. This one is similar to the GMV regular indoor unit, which we can set it from the remote monitoring software or the central controller to shield the control from the Y controller, which is from this one. And for the central controller, set it from here. We offer you this file. When you activate this function, the icon will display on the Y controller, this one. Next is the schedule function. The schedule function icon is this one, and the purpose of it is just to, according to your plan, to heating up the DHW in advance, and also according to your setting temperature to turn on or turn off the compressor. This is only for DHW, and here just follow this. You can set the schedule. You can find it. We offer you this schedule to turn it on and turn it off at your preset time. and also you can set the temperature and how long to repeat it. This is the detailed day and the repeat on which weekday. Next, I'm going to introduce how to do the wiring. And this picture is the circuit diagram on the back of the electrical box. Just follow this, you need to do the wiring for different functions. And first is the water tank e-heater dry contactor, which is for the water tank e-heater. When we need to get a high temperature, you need to use this water tank e-heater. Just connect on the XT1, 1, 2 is okay. And for the floor heating, first we need to use the water pump and then the e-heater. For the floor heating, the connection is on the ST2. As for the water return, which is for the DHW, when the customer would like the instant hot water function, and for this one we need to activate the water pump and also a water temperature sensor, which we need to put it at the user side. And just connect on the CN49. And next is solar heating, which if the water tank, there are two coils to heating up the DHW. For the other one is for the heat pump, which for the GMV6 heat recovery, and the other one you can use the solar heating, which is when we detect the water in the solar panel, it is higher than the water tank temperature, so we need to activate the water pump of the solar to make the water system circulate to heating up the DHW. So what you need to do is do the wiring of the water pump and the temperature sensor on the PV panel. After that, also need to change this switch on the electrical box to tell the system you have this device. This slide show you how to do the wiring and the installation on the optional functions. And on this one you can find it. This is the water tank. There are two coils of it. One is for the hydro box, which is for the heat pump, and the other one, this is for the you can use a solar panel to heating up the DHW, or you can use a gas burner. And as this one is for the user, they offer the DHW to the user, and then back from here, and this connect to the tap water. So first is for the return water, which is the instant hot water. You need to do two settings, which is first for the water tank temperature, put it here so we can get this temperature, and the other one is the water temperature on the user side. You can put it here, and then is the return water interval time. Also you need to set it. After that, do the wiring to the backwater pump. If we detected the water temperature here is lower than your setting temperature, then we can make it to return, or according to the interval time, the system can turn on this water pump to circulate the cold water, which is this one. And the other is the solar heating. And also you need to do the wiring to the solar water pump and the temperature to detect the PV panel. Also, if we detected the water temperature, this one is higher than this one, then we can circulate, which is turn on this water pump to heating up the DHW. Next part, I'm going to introduce how to check and set the parameter of this wire controller. First is the user parameter checking. This is for the customer. And the method is just press this button and then you will go to the view. Select the view, then go to this page. Then select this one and it will display the different parameter of this system. And also we have 3 pages of it. And also if there is one controller to control mounted, you can also select different hydro box. And here is the parameter. Basically, this will not affect the system operation. Next is the project parameter checking. And beside the user parameter checking, and this is additional, it is for the engineer to check or to do the maintenance. It will be very convenient. So we put all the sensors value on this one, and also including the pressure sensor and temperature sensor, and also the compressor and outdoor fan RPM, and also the EXV opening. The third one is to check all the hydro box project number. When you activate this one, the all wire controller in the CAN1 network will display the project number, which is the address of this hydro box. If you just use one wire controller to control mounted hydro box, it will display the project number of the hydro box for 3 seconds in returns. This slide shows how to set the user parameter. Just press this button and then at the next page you need to select set. Then we offer you 2 options. First is for the user parameter setting, which is this part, and this is the parameter list. Basically, you can just it is very easy for understanding. You can just read it and you will know it. This is the first page. This is the second page. Also, the function, you can read the name, you already get it. And if you don't know, you can just read the instruction. And here I'd like to introduce what is the automatic heat recovery water temperature setting. And actually, what is the automatically, right? It's not easy understanding. First, I will introduce what is automatic heat recovery. And this picture shows the system, outdoor unit, mode exchanger. There are 2. And also we connected the water tank, which is the DHW. And also this one is in charge the space heating and space cooling. And for the automatic heat recovery, that means when the indoor unit is doing cooling. For example, this tool is doing cooling. At that time, for a heat pump, they need to release heat, which is the outdoor unit release heat, right? So the release heat, we can also put the heat to the water, which means when the indoor unit is doing cooling, at that time, even the customer, there is no domestic hot water requirement, we can heating up the domestic hot water automatically. That is the automatic heat recovery. Then for the customer, they just get the free DHW when the indoor unit is doing cooling, just like this, heating up it. And here is the requirement for this automatic heat recovery. First, we require only indoor unit cooling, and then you need to activate or allow this function. which is to set it to bit 00. And the last is the DHW temperature, which is detected here. Is not higher than the heat recovery range. For example, if we detected the DHW temperature is 50 degree, this is not available for heat automatic heat recovery because the temperature is too high. You can for the system efficiency, if this is too high, it will lower the efficiency. Also makes it the efficiency. If it is not that high, also it will make the indoor unit is not that cool. So here I also need to clarify that for cooling plus DHW, this is not automatically heat recovery. This is deliberate heat recovery because this is cooling. You need to release heat to the DHW, so it will be deliberate. Then we go to the project parameter setting. Just follow these pictures. First is here, and then select this set. Then go to this project parameter set. Here we require the password. Is this? This is to avoid the customer they may enter this one and change the inside, which this will affect the system operation. So just to avoid this, we require the password. After that, we will go to this parameter list, and according to this one, you can change. This is for the service people or the engineer. And you can also follow the parameter name, and you will know what is the main name itself. And here the system priority setting. That means the system we divide it into these three, which is the air conditioner, including cooling, heating, domestic hot water, or the floor heating. And this is 00 means the priority is default, which is air conditioning. And here the max DHW temperature setting, it is for the auto mode. For this one, we offer you the max and mini. And also pay attention to this one. If your setting temperature is higher than 55, higher than that is only rely on the water tank heater. And this function is according to the outdoor ambient temperature. The system can automatically set the target DHW temperature. As for the defrost method, for this part I will in next slide I will explain this one. This slide explains what is the defrost mode with DHW and without DHW. That means when the heat recovery auto unit require to do defrost, and if we make it with the DHW, that means the DHW, the temperature is still high, so we can use this heat to fast or make the defrost to be faster. And also this, for the result, you can find it. This is the without DHW. The blue line is the room temperature. It will drop a lot. And this one is with the HW, which means we can also make it to not drop that far, that low. And on the other hand, the defrost period, which is this part, it will can be shortened. So I just make the comparison here. The different point is the indoor room temperature will drop not that much, and also for the flow noise of the indoor unit during defrost. For this one, it can be much lower. And the same point is that we also require the four-way valve to change direction, and also the indoor unit there stops. And here is for this one, there is a limit which is for the DHW temperature. It should be higher than 10. We go back to this slide. The last one is the water tank year heater for outdoor unit 4. That means if the outdoor unit has some malfunction, which means the heat pump is not working, but at that time you still need the domestic hot water. So will you allow to heating up the DHW only with the water tank year heater? We go to the second page of the project parameter setting. The first two is easy understanding, so we skip, and this two is for the return hot water, which is the instant hot water. The first one is the interval time between two times of the turn on return water pump, and this one is how long you turn on the water pump. And as for this 6, I will explain in the next slide. And this one, the floor heating parameter setting, you need to keep it the same as the diff switch setting on the electrical box in Hydrobox. Make it the same. And this is the O2 setting temperature of the floor heating. And this is the auto heat water temperature correction of the floor heating, also the same. And the last is the water heating e-heater, when you need to turn it on or not. And also, even you set it as off, there is the auto anti-freezing function. It will automatically make it on. This slide just explains how this 6 parameter works. That means basically we need to turn on this e-heater, either for the cooling plus DHW or heating plus DHW. That means on this picture you can find that if the heating speed of the DHW is too slow, and we need to turn on this to heating up the DHW, too slow or not. And if it is the heating up speed is higher than the upper limit, we can turn it off, and lower than it, turn it on. Within the range, just remain the previous status. And as for the compensation value, that means if the DHW drops due to the user just consume the DHW too much or too fast, will also leads to there are too much cold supplement tap water, right? At that time, also we also set a parameter to detect this one. And actually, all the if there's no special purpose, please don't change this setting. It's already set by our engineers. That's all for the presentation. If you still have any question, just feel free to contact me on this email address. See you. Bye bye.